This is our Hellcat rebuild and it's almost done. And by the end of this video, it will be done. So we bought this car wrecked from auction about 2 years ago and we went ahead and we restored it back to stock. We'll call that version 1 of this Hellcat build. But then we started going on to version 2. We wide bodied the car because this car is pushing a little bit of extra power, 777 horsepower to the wheels. So we wide bodied the car so we could put bigger wheels and tires on it, and we wrapped it magenta, and that was version 2. But now we're working on version 3 here because version 2 ended in disaster, guys. The engine on that one blew up. I'll have every single video of the playlist of this car linked down below. You guys can check it out, and it'll also be up in this iCard or this iCard. But we got the engine completely replaced, guys, and it's in the car now. And we went ahead and my brother wrapped this whole thing matte black, and I wrapped a few things here and there too, like the mirrors and the door handles. But now we're ready to go ahead and put this whole thing together. This thing is exactly the same as it was last time you guys saw it. The only thing that's different is it's all one color now. This time we took what we learned from version 2. There was some stuff that we learned and we are applying it to this one right here, and this is going to be version 3. This car was a little bit unexpected. The rebuild, we were not expecting this car to come back. We were not ever expecting that the engine on this thing would go bad, but it did, and we had this car come up unexpectedly, so we made videos on it. After this video is done on this car, guys, I will be so happy to announce that we can go ahead and move on to future builds, like this beautiful Mach 1 here that I've been dying to work on for the longest time. But this one came up out of nowhere and I just really wanted to get it done. And there's a lot of cool stuff to learn from a project like an engine swap, so I recorded it for you guys so you guys could see. But I'm super excited for that one, but let's go ahead and get this one knocked out. I did mention that we learned some stuff from the magenta colored one, which was version 2, and that is actually over here. So if you guys come closer right here, you can see that we actually did end up cutting out a bit of the fender right here, and that's because with widening the wheels, this fender and these wheels would actually come in contact with each other and it would make a little bit of a scraping sound. Thankfully, it does not do the same thing in the quarter panels. There's not much suspension travel back here, so these did not have to get cut. So super happy there that we didn't have to cut something that has to be pretty much welded to the car. So we're good on that. Then another thing that we learned, guys, is the original front bumper that was on this car. We restored it from the accident. It had a little bit of crackage happening towards the lower portion of it. But after we had wide bodied the car, guys, that bumper started getting a lot more downforce. So a portion of our repair actually did end up cracking. And there was parts of the mounting brackets that were not secured on properly because they were somewhat cracked from the accident. So we are completely replacing the bumper with a brand new one so we can have all those mounting points nice and tightly down because the lip that we had previously on the car did fly away. But this is the new bumper right here, which my brother also went ahead and wrapped. And we are going ahead, we're finishing up the wrap on it right now. But by the end of all of this, guys, this car is gonna look absolutely mean, and then we won't have to worry about this build anymore. Why did the camera die while I was installing this? I don't know why. I still have to put the rubber gaskets on this side, but this is the current setup right now because it's like a bajillion degrees in here. So I have to have like the air coming through the car to where I'm gonna be working so I don't overheat because it's very hot in here. I'm gonna need to go get me some coolant. All right, one side done. Now it's time for round 2. This is gonna be a lot tighter and a lot harder, but let's do it. In time-lapse form, of course. Made in Canada. It's cute. Ta-da! Okay, so we got the doors put together on both sides. I got all the gaskets on. Everything up from this point back on the car is pretty much good to go. But now one thing we have to do up here at the front end, these are all the wiper motor related parts that we have to put back on the car, such as the strut brace, the cowl, the wipers, and the wiper motor. We had to pull all these things off the car when we were doing the engine swap, but now the engine swap is done. So we can put all that stuff back on and tidy up this engine bay, and then we have to put the air filter back in and snap in a few covers here and there. But let's go ahead and get all this wiper stuff put back onto the car. The old bumper, along with all of its grills, was a little bit rough around the edges. So we have a bunch of new stuff for the new bumper, so this front end can look as best as it can. Let's go ahead and install all this stuff. That bumper is being an absolute challenge to get put back together. It's been like a battle and a half. It's still not done. We have to put the lip on. My fingers are so sore, but same time tomorrow? All right. All right, so it is the next day here, and here's what we're looking like right now, guys. So the front bumper has been pretty much assembled. I still just have to go ahead and tidy up a little bit more of it and put a couple more things in, like a cool little badge that goes here. But right now, the struggle is right here with this lip, trying to put this on. This lip is massive and there's a lot of different mounting points for it to go on, and I want to make sure it gets on there nice and securely. So definitely gonna have to spend a lot of time with this, make sure that every single clip is put in its place, because like last time, we do not want this lip flying away. Although that was not entirely the lip's fault. The bumper did have a couple tabs broken, like around this area here where the main point of impact happened in the original accident. So got a brand new bumper, brand new lip, should solve that issue, but now we just gotta make sure it's on there nice and tight so this car can look as best as it can be. All right, guys, got the bumper on the car, but not for good. There's still a little bit of things we have to do and tighten up before this car is actually ready right here on the front bumper side of things. So we're not gonna look at it just yet. We're gonna wait till it's done, but we're gonna continue working on it tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. All right, guys, so we got the front bumper on the car right here, and it's not 100% installed yet, so we're not gonna take a look at it yet. I'm gonna wait until we get this front end completely put together so I can show you guys how this car looks in all of its glory. So real quick, we do have to put this gasket right here over the hood seam. From the, it's like a seal from the bumper to the hood. This gets riveted in, so we have to rivet this in. I have to bolt in the bumper over on this side and make sure that the splitter is nice and put in as well and put all the covers in and get this front end installed 100%, and then I'll show it to you guys, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the flares, and this thing will start looking like a Hellcat wide body then. So let's do it. Alright guys, so a little update on the riveting situation here. The situation is very riveting. So basically what's happening here, guys, is every time we get the rivet gun and we put one of these rivets into it, all that happens is it doesn't actually rivet itself down. It pulls it as much as it can. As you can see, it pulls it like that, but then you push the rivet gun in more, right? So you release the rivet gun, you push it in more so you can rivet it more, but all that happens is this just releases. The reason it's releasing is because it doesn't catch until it gets all the way down here. You have to go such a long way, about here, before it actually catches. So the rivet gun is not working on plastic rivets like this. This works really well on metal rivets, because when you use the rivet gun on metal rivets, the rivets don't go back. They stay where you put them because you're bending them. But these ones will not stay because they don't catch. It's like a zip tie. They do not catch until they get to the grooves. So the way we're doing it is we're using two tools. We're using this one to hold the rivet down, and then we're pulling it with the other one, and it's actually working really well. As you can see, these are not going anywhere. This is one that's been riveted. This one has not been riveted. So I'm gonna show you guys right now how you're gonna do this. All right, check this out, guys. So my brother's holding it. I'm just gonna go ahead, put some locking jaws on here. We're just gonna give it a good old squeeze. Just like that. Ta-da! Not going anywhere. Looks really good, but definitely needs like the sun, some heat to like form it, because it was in like packaging, so the rubber is like not formed to the proper contouring of the car, but it will be now that it's installed. All right, time to bolt in some of these bumper brackets for good now. Alright guys, so the driver's side has been completely put together and it looks absolutely amazing, minus the Hellcat badge. We still have to put that on, but now we're going to turn the car around so we can finish up the passenger side. Let's do it. Hellcat, guys. So this car, first of all, first and foremost, I do apologize for the very, very bad lighting, guys. This car took way longer than we thought it would to get done today, and it's like pitch black out now. But as you can see, we have put up these very bright industrial lights so you guys can see this. It's even harder to show this thing on camera because it's black, and we're trying to show it in black daylight, so no daylight. We're doing the best we can here, so I do apologize, guys. But we got this car done, and it looks absolutely amazing. This car entered the shop magenta and with the blown motor, and now it's been completely stealthed out, and it has a new used motor in it, and it looks absolutely amazing. I do want to mention, if you guys do want to see a very, very detailed video on how to wrap a car, I'll have it linked down below and in this iCard or this iCard of us wrapping the Corvette Grand Sport rebuild that we were doing, and we wrapped that car yellow. But this one has been wrapped black, guys, and it came out absolutely amazing. Now, as promised, now that we got this whole car put together, guys, let's go ahead and take a look around this awesome car. Guys, take a look at this front end, how mean it looks. We even added a new badge right here. Instead of it just saying, oh, that looked cool, lightning strike. Instead of it just saying SRT, we have SRT with the Hellcat badge. The old bumper just had SRT on it. And take a look at these DRLs, guys. Oh, let me turn them on. Are they on? Look how sick those look. Yeah, I say that looks pretty well. That looks really cool. It's about to start storming too, which is pretty cool. Now you guys can see how much more sense it made when we painted the supercharger lid. Now that the whole car has been stealthed out, it makes a little bit more sense. I know before we did that, the car was still like not wrapped, so it didn't make sense, but now you guys can see why that was done, and it looks pretty cool. It came out pretty sick. We got these brand new flares on, guys. We got them wrapped. We got our Hellcat decals put back on as well with the little red eye. It looks super insane. And we got the fenders from the backside actually cut, so if the car needs to bounce around a little bit for the suspension travel, it's not going to grind up against those fenders anymore, and it's going to look really good. We got this whole thing wrapped. It looks absolutely amazing, guys. A huge shout out to my brother, not this brother, but the other one. He's like all the way over there in the darkness, but he's the one that wrapped the entire car, so huge shout out to him. We did detail the whole car, guys, got it nice and clean. And then if you look right over here, under this passenger seat, I did mount like a little mini fire extinguisher, you know, just for safekeeping. That's something I've always been doing, but this car has one too now. Now that this car is done, we tossed the fire extinguisher in here too. All right, guys, but as you can see, this car just came into the shop, and it was completely unplanned when it did come in to have all this stuff fixed, and this stealthing out the whole thing was also very unplanned. But we got it all done now, and we can take a big, nice sigh of relief, and we can move on to what we initially had planned. We got the Mach 1 back there. We have the Supra, it should be coming back soon. So now that this car is gone, guys, I feel so much more relieved, so much more relaxed. I don't have to worry about this one anymore, and it can be out ripping the streets as it was before, and we can do what we've been doing, guys. We're building awesome projects. So thankfully this one is done now, guys, and we can move on to awesome things. I'm just super relieved that it's finally done. But if you guys have been loving this Hellcat build or any of the other builds, or if you guys want to see what we're doing in the future, because we have some epic stuff coming up, guys, be sure to go down below, hit that like button while you're at. There's a shiny subscribe button that you should click. And guys, I'll have the Instagram account linked down below there as well as any other socials. I'm always hanging out on there, so you guys can go ahead and check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff on there as well. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.